I'm really sorry that I'm late. I don't know which way to face. Shall I
Anyway.
just? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm late. I've heard it's been really powerful and really amazing, so thank you. How long? I don't want to go on. How long have I got?
As long as you feel like it.
Well, okay. So I'm going to give you a really brief version. I know some of you have heard the story, so I'll give you a really brief version of it. So basically, yeah, so I was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder when I was 20. So that's a combination of schizophrenia and bipolar when I was 20. My mental health issues actually started when I was really young. So actually, around the age of 3-4 years old, I started to see things and hear things that weren't there. And I was taken to a child psychologist, and I struggled throughout primary and secondary school, but things really came to a head sort of in my mid-teens. I was struggling with my sexuality, and I come from a Jewish family, so I was told, being gay is wrong, it's a sin, so that caused a lot of issues. I started to hear what I thought was the voice of the devil in my head. I was delusional. I thought I was on my own version of The Truman Show, the film The Truman Show with Jim Carrey. So this has come to be known as what's called the Truman Delusion. It's something that's actually psychiatrists have termed the Truman Delusion. And this went on, but I don't know how, looking back, I managed to cover it all up. I just put a mask on it. I was so embarrassed and ashamed about everything, so I put a mask on it, and I ran away to, I'm from London, and I ran away to university, believing that university would be it would change everything. I believed that I could leave everything behind, and I was going to start afresh in Manchester in university, and everything came with, and it got worse at university, and I spiraled out of control. And then in my third year, I had this breakdown, and I became psychotic. I lost control, and I was put into a psychiatric hospital, and I was given this diagnosis that I mentioned, schizoaffective disorder, which was, I thought it was a life sentence. I thought that's it, I'm done. And I spent a month in the psychiatric hospital before I decided to, essentially to run away and to end my life. I just thought, what's the point? I'm never ever going to get better. So, there's no point in carrying on. I felt like a burden on my family. And so I ran away, and I went to this bridge in central London. And I was on the edge of this bridge when this stranger approached me and started talking. And I remember at first, I just wanted him to leave me alone. I wanted to be left alone and for me to get on with it. But he wouldn't. He was very, very... He stood his ground. He was very firm, but very kind and very empathetic and very patient with me. And one of the first things that he said to me, one of the key things was, he said, "Don't be embarrassed, mate." And that was so powerful for me to hear, because I was so embarrassed about my mental health and my sexuality as well. And for someone to say, it's fine, don't be embarrassed and don't be ashamed. It was such a relief, and I started to talk. I started to open up. I said more to this stranger than I've ever said to anyone in my life, because I felt safe with him. And he let me talk. In the hospital, I'd said a few times I was suicidal and I wanted to hurt myself. And they'd say, right, well, we have to up your meds and you've got to go back to the suicide wards. And that was it. But here was this guy that was just like, just talk, I'll listen. And, he said, I'll take the morning off work, just you and me, just talk it out. And I'd never had that before. Someone just listen, just be prepared to listen and not that was so powerful. But the real key thing that he said to me was, and he said this, and it's so simple, and he said it just so kind of matter of fact. He said to me, "I think you'll get better, mate." And no one has said that to me before. So to have someone say that, and he really meant it, he really was sincere about it, he really did believe that I would get better. And because when you're in that place, you don't believe it. So you need someone else to be that person, to believe in you. And he did, and that was the thing that literally pulled me back off the edge. And I said, right, let's go for a coffee. And he helped me back off the edge, and I came to the pavement, but I didn't know, but there was a police car waiting, and police jumped out and grabbed me and took me away. And last time I saw the stranger for 6 years. And I was taken away, I was sectioned, and I went back to the hospital that I ran away from, and something in me felt different. I mean, there was still the stuff in my head, but something in me, essentially, I had some hope. You know, just from just that short conversation, I had some hope. And I'd never ever had hope before. In all these years, I'd never had hope, and that hope carried me through. Yeah, it was a tricky time in my. I'm 30 now, but my early part of my 20s, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't have a problem. I wanted everyone to leave me alone. I didn't want to take my meds. It was complete denial. And then it was only in my mid-20s. I know I'm going on, so it was only in my mid-20s that I basically, a family friend of ours, he had a heart attack, a major heart attack, and I sat down with him after the heart attack. He'd had a bypass, and he taught me through everything that he'd gone through. So like the first pains that he got in his arm and the bypass, and I sat there listening, thinking, why can you be so open about you know, you're sitting there, you're not embarrassed or ashamed, and you so open, and why can't I be like this? You know, why can you be like this and I can't? And I thought, this has got to change. And so I went home that night and I made my first YouTube video. I just wanted to talk. I was desperate to talk. I couldn't look someone in the eyes and do it because I was too embarrassed, but I did it to the video camera and I put that online, and do you know, it was such a relief. People were messaging me saying, I hear a voice, and I've had the Truman Delusion, and I've been depressed, and just to know that, you know, you are, because it's so isolating, as you know, it's so isolating. So to have other people say, you know, it's, I go through it as well, that was such a relief, and that was a change for me. I started talking, I realized there's something in this, you know, maybe I can make a difference to other people, and help them, and almost be their voice in a way, for some people that, where I was when I was struggling in silence. And so that's what I did. I ended up sort of public speaking and getting involved in the mental health world, and then I launched this campaign to find the guy on the bridge. I called it the Find Mike campaign. His name was actually Neil. But it was just unbelievable. I mean, it went viral and it started trending. Yeah, it's quite overwhelming. But the most incredible thing was we actually had 38 people come forwards to say, I think it was me that helped you on the bridge, which and most of these people were genuine, which was amazing. But most incredibly of all, we were reunited. It was, yeah, just, I can't really describe it. We were reunited, and we now work together every day. We now work together. We go around companies and schools and prisons and universities and hospitals to try and get people talking. You know, obviously there's my side, but his side is so important. You know, what he did, how he stepped in, how he listened, and what he does now. You know, I still struggle. The support that he gives now. And we just want to break that stigma and that shame and that embarrassment. And yeah, that's hopefully what we're doing now. But we're seeing a massive change. I mean, massive change. And yeah, I mean, this year, I don't know, there's something about this year, you know, the amount of workplaces and universities we've been into, it's really exciting. It's really exciting, and it's really exciting to be here. And thank you. I feel like I've hijacked. So.